Hi, everyone. Uh, there we go, July 12th. If you are a baseball fan, Major League Baseball draft today, just FYI.
Just in case no one noticed, if anyone did not know, San Diego has a baseball team.
Very true.
We used to have a football team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. We had to go there. I'm sorry.
And you know what? That is not the question for today. Okay. The question for today, what community in San Diego has the longest pier? Okay. Now, I know some of you guys might want to go down the rabbit hole.
Oh, no.
Let's try to keep this really PG, all right? Professional. All right. All right. Now, while we're getting the text messages of people trying to win, I'm going to go over the numbers, and then David will jump into the rates. So if you looked at it, the last week we had the lowest sold properties. Now, mind you, what goes into escrow over a month, I mean, it takes about a month or so, maybe a little longer, a little shorter to close. So this is actually the last couple months. But 605. Now, yes, it's going to jump up a little higher because agents backdate their stuff. But maybe if it goes to 700, it's still really low. The week before, though, 966, when we had one of the higher ones. So people are maybe closing out their books, and that's why we were getting those numbers right there. But yeah, we're still consistently getting a decent amount of inventory. How has that affected the market? Well, you're taking right there. We're getting close to that 3,000 number.
That's awesome.
Okay, 3,000. We were a couple months back, about 2.5 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, about 2,000. That's quite the jump up. Okay, pending properties, we're at 4,000. So doesn't mean they're all going to sell, but close to about most of them are going to sell. So the way to take these numbers to think about is that we're slowly getting a slowdown of the market. So if you were looking to buy a couple months back, it might be a good time to start putting your feelers out there and get ready to go. If you're looking to sell, I would really suggest talking to a trusted realtor. Feel free to call myself up or talk to David and find out what's possible. Because
I will simply refer them, just for the record, Vinny, if someone calls me selling their house, I cannot help them, but I will refer them to you for you to help them sell their house, because you're my trusted go-to honest agent that actually knows what they're doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind of words. I'll get that $5 in the mail over to you.
Wow.
Okay, $6. All right. So yeah, the market's slowing down. Again, if you watch our stuff, I think we're going to see more of a plateau. The moratorium got extended again to end of July. So we'll see how that plays in effect into August, September timeframe, what goes on there. But we're going to see more of a kind of a stagnant to the market, more of a plateau to the market. It probably is going to be a little while before we see any kind of drop to the market. But something to think about is if you're going to take advantage of the market, take advantage of it sooner than later.
I would agree with you, Vinny. It's right now, as more properties are coming on, it is amazing, because as we've been doing this over the weeks, before we were literally, staggering at how limited amount of people were selling their house. And now there's more people. I mean, 1,000 more people coming on just from last month. That's a big jump.
Well, and it's also too, I mean, you got to think the mindset of it, right? We were jumping at such a rapid rate in a year span, roughly a year span. We jumped up across the board about 24%, somewhere around there. So every time you were listing a property, right, the old way of doing it was I'm going to basically check the comps out for the last 6 months. I mean, for the last maybe 6 months or maybe even 7 months, I mean, any realtor worth their salt was looking at the last 2 to 3 months when they're comping out a property, because values are going at such a rapid pace, right? So if you're listing your property and you're going, oh my gosh, this person just sold for here, I'm going to try to shoot the number up a little higher. You might overprice your property, especially in this market, how the market's plateauing a little bit. That be aware that you can overprice your property. I mean, the market's coming where it's not as crazy. It's still crazy. It's still very much seller's market. yet not as crazy as it was a couple months ago.
You know, that's interesting. You mentioned that. There's a data service out there called Black Knight, which, full disclosure, has nothing to do with color. It's just a company called Black Knight, so no one needs to get upset and cry. But it's called Black Knight, data. And they're predicting that between now and into December, that there's going to be a 10% appreciation on properties. That is absurd. That is so high. So for those of you who are out there going, oh, I'm just gonna wait and later on I'm gonna save my money. If that's true, which Black Knight's a pretty reliable source of data, and housing prices goes up 10%, obviously not in all markets, each community is a little bit different, but if it goes up 10% in those well sought after communities between now and December, that's a lot of money, Vinny. Like if an average home is $750, you're talking about 75 grand higher. That's absurd.
I don't know. I don't know.
I hope that's not true.
Yeah, again, no one has a crystal ball. So you could see the values go up. I just think that, and the market's closer to the top than the bottom. We're slowly already seeing those numbers recorrect a little bit.
I would love to see more inventory come on, and with more inventory coming on, the other thing that's going to come into play is like tomorrow we have inflation data coming out, which, as some of you may have noticed, things are more expensive. Now, the federal government doesn't consider food and energy part of inflation. So for those of you who don't eat food or don't use energy, then it doesn't matter to you. But if you do eat food and you use energy, inflation is kind of important. And we're at 5%. That's a lot of inflation. Do they expect it to stay that way? Well, the Fed says it's transitory. Now, I know a couple things. Some homeless people that came into San Diego as transitory, they didn't leave. They actually stayed. So when things are more expensive in stores all across the board, prices typically stay where they're at or go up. You're not going to see all of a sudden you're going to go in the store and go, oh my golly Wally, that chocolate milk I used to buy for $5 is now $6.50, is not going to all of a sudden go back to $4.89.
Yeah.
It's just not happening. So, just another good reason for you guys to balance your budgets and careful where you spend your money and be observant, because even with interest rates super low like they are, and speaking of low rates, today we opened up really good, Vinny, once again, and Jumbo once again back down at the 2.8 mark, APR 2.914450. So just full disclosure, another good week for rates, and it's not going to be a volatile week this week, because the only data that comes out that's important is tomorrow. So if you're looking to time the market, this is not one of those good weeks. But if the bond market gets a major hiccup, we may get a drop in rates. But once again, another amazing week starting it out. And for those of you who are FHA and VA, holy mackerel. It's like a whale with a tail, like in Geppetto with the whale, It's big. This is big news.
Talking about big things, what community in San Diego has the longest pier?
I'm not going to say the message that this person sent me. They should have listened to what you said in the beginning, Vinny, because this is not appropriate.
It's not appropriate. All right.
Definitely not what you sent me. It's a pier in the ocean. Okay. Not to be confused with some other phallic source.
All right. Well, I'm going to go over this one. This is not. Well, maybe it is. I'm not going to say anything. But just Point Loma, we thought I'd bring this up. We got 10 minutes, so we were cutting this really quick. If you looked over June to June, it's not that much of a thing. You're talking about a negative number right there. Year to date, though, it's definitely trickled up a little bit. You're talking about basically a 24% jump. Remember how we're talking about 24% that jumped up? Also, list to sold price.
Wow, Point Loma. Is Point Loma located near another community too?
Yeah. So
okay. Interesting.
It's near a couple different communities.
That's very interesting.
It's very interesting. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching. Please reach out if you have any questions. We're just trying to give you some short and sweet information. Hey, what do we know?
My daughter has a crystal ball, but she's not predicting the future, my friend.
That's very true. Have a great one, everyone. Please subscribe, please share, and tell your friends.